And welcome to Overtime, brought to you by KingsCast at www.kingscast.net. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalaszewski.
And we are fired up after a big Kings win, one of very, very few at the State, which we were just at, Chris.
That's right. We're back, Kings fans, after a huge night of Kings hockey. Here to talk about the trade deadline. Talk about the Colorado and Phoenix games. I'll talk about the huge game tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks, and also give you a see-ya to our good friend, Mr. Jack Johnson.
So here we go, episode 145. Jeff Carter is a Los Angeles King. Chris, let's do this.
Okay, Kings fans, so we take a look at the first game. We talk about the Phoenix Coyotes. You know, that game was a huge game. You know, this is the game that I thought would be a huge turnaround game. Kings are up 3-0 after the first period. Yeah. Now, Kings fans, this is the first time all season that the Kings have been not one, not two, but up 3 goals after the first period. Guaranteed win, Keith.
Oh, but yet it wasn't, because it's the Los Angeles Kings. I mean, it was kind of one of those games where they really, really let up in a way that they don't typically do that. I mean, being the third-ranked defensive team in the league, and, you know, we lost it in overtime. It happens.
Shootout, actually, but yeah, no chance.
I stopped watching after the third period, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so Kings lost that one.
Yeah.
But we did get a point.
Thank God.
Yeah, so coming into Colorado, you know, this is a game. This time I guarantee we're going to come back. We got this one. The turnaround begins now. Here we go.
All right, so Colorado won 4-1, and, you know, the Kings continue to slip and slide down the standings, you know, at 10th place. You know, all hope is lost. We're not making any kind of deals. And then a few things actually happened. You know, and this is basically what we want to talk about. Jeff Carter traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Jeff Carter of the Philadelphia Flyers, who was also traded the same day as Mike Richards to the Los Angeles Kings for Jack Johnson and a first. Chris?
I like the trade. You know, first, I know it's a little bit shocking. You know, Kings fans, I know, you get used to players after a while, especially after 5+ seasons. But this is a fantastic trade. In my opinion, you know, you take a defenseman who has a bunch of potential, had 5 years to sort of build it up, but it never really got to the point where he was untouchable like maybe a Drew Doughty, even though Drew Doughty is sort of, you know, struggling maybe a little bit. Hey, maybe he's struggling a little bit, but you know, Jack Johnson, he's absolutely expendable. You have to spend some money to make some money. So you trade a guy like a Jack Johnson, who I think when it comes down to it, maybe is a little overrated, and a first to get a guy like, you know, Jeff Carter, who has all the potential. He's very versatile. He's big. He's got some speed. He has the potential to score. I like it. I
have never heard, Chris, a collective groan from Los Angeles Kings fans as I did when we traded for Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter, a guy that didn't just score 30 goals like 5 years back like a Simone Gagne and is at the end of his career. This is a guy that, you know, is in his prime, actually probably entering his prime. He scored over 40 once, you know, consistent 30-goal scorer. We give up a guy like Jack Johnson in a first-round pick, which even if we didn't make the playoffs is, you know, probably mid-round at best. You know, you gotta love the trade. Yes, he's a center, but guys, we're not getting Zach Parise. Zach Parise, he's going to stay in the East. You know, he's probably not going to re-sign with the Devils. He'll end up with the Rangers or the Bruins. You know, whoever it's going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be with the Los Angeles Kings. It's not going to happen. And there wasn't a lot available. I mean, a lot of people say Rick Nash. We dissected that in the last show. We're not going to do that again. You know, Jeff Carter, friend with Mike Richards. Yes, they like to party it up a little bit, but you know what? They partied it up in the year that season after he was traded, Chris, he was the highest scoring, you know, goal scorer on the Philadelphia Flyers with over 30 goals. I mean, this is it's a trade you do every day of the week. And bottom line, Columbus needed defense. We gave him Jack Johnson. You know, Jack Johnson's plus-minus has not been at the top of the league. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, I like the trade, too. It's a trade that we had to make. Unfortunately, we still have Dwight King on the second line.
Yeah. You know, you take a look at everything. You look at the player like Jeff Carter. I mean, he's a guy that's going to be, he's a pure goal scorer. You're not asking him to be a captain or an assistant captain or some guy who's going to, like, you know, be a rah-rah guy in the locker room. He's a guy who's there to score some goals. And you look at Jack Johnson, a guy who, I think if, as a Kings fan, we watched him for several hundred games.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's a guy who, you know, he takes a shot from the point and he hits the boards every time. You know, he's a guy who is in weird positions all the time. You never know where he's going to be. You know, Dean Lombardi called him a rover a couple years ago back in the infamous Gam Matsuda interview debacle.
Yes.
But, you know, he's a guy that was never really going to get out of Drew Doughty's shadow. And I think that he played like that. He played like that when Drew Doughty was out several times, where he stepped up to the #1 defensive spot. But as soon as Dowdy came back, it was certainly questionable, the way that he was playing. So I think he goes to Columbus, and maybe he becomes the first defenseman. That's great, but we get a guy who has all the potential. He's not playing in Columbus. Who the hell wants to play in Columbus?
Jack Johnson does, apparently, by his quotes.
Well, yeah, he does. Yeah. But I'm talking about a forward, a guy who is in the market like Philadelphia. This is a guy who's excited to be here. He's excited to play with his good buddy, Mike Richards. I have a very good feeling about this.
The other thing about, Jeff Carter that hasn't been talked about, and an asset that he has that Rick Nash didn't, he can skate very, very fast. Yeah. And on the Los Angeles Kings, when your fastest skaters are Brad Richardson and Trevor Lewis, who have hands of stone, you're going to go ahead and take that deal. The other thing, too, Slava Voinov came up, and we'll talk about the game a little bit tonight, but Slava Voinov will hit the net. It may not go in, but Jack Johnson, as you said, it hits the net. It hits the McDonald's sign in the corner. It doesn't go in. You're going to have to do that deal. Kings fans, it's something that we had to do, and there are still moves that we need to make to really, truly become a contender, but we like it here at KingsCast.
All right, King. So also, sort of lost in the midst of this crazy week with the Carter acquisition was the extension of Willie Mitchell. Now, Willie Mitchell has been sort of a quiet guy who's sort of come up and stepped up as a leader on the team.
But an awesome interview.
He's one of my favorite. We actually interviewed him at Tippecanoe last year, and he was my favorite by far. I mean, the guy is hilarious. He's a character guy. He's funny. He's level-headed. He's a great defenseman. He's a great stay-at-home defenseman. He's the guy that you lock up. I know he's, 35 now or something, so signing this guy was huge. 2 years, 7-year deal. I love it.
Yeah, I love it, too. There's nothing more to say about that. And the last person that came up, Chris, it was in TSN. Bob McKenzie had talked about it. Was Dustin Brown, the captain, the guy that is always top 5 in hits in the NHL, a guy that always scores 25 goals for the Los Angeles Kings, can be clutch, popping up in the trade rumors. And, when it first came out, I said, I think this is Dean Lombardi trying to motivate the team. Same way the Ducks did, saying that everybody's available but Solani and Koivu.
Right.
You know what, guys? I really don't think that Dustin Brown is going to be traded. I mean, anybody can be traded in the National Hockey League, sure. If Evgeny Malkin was available and the price was Dustin Brown, Dean Lombardi's going to do it. But that deal is not going to happen. Dustin Brown will be a Los Angeles King.
Yeah, guys, you might want to question his, ability to be a captain. He's not Chris Pronger. He's not going to get in people's face. He's more like a silent captain, kind of like a Jonathan Taves or a Joe Sakic, those kind of guys who kind of lead by example. But Brown is the captain. He's a fantastic player. He's not going to score 40 goals. He's just never going to do that. But he's the guy that we want to keep. And I think it sort of lit the fire under the team's ass, in saying that he's going to be traded, and absolutely had a huge effect tonight.
Yeah, so coming into tonight at the Staples Center, I didn't want to go, really. But then, we made the Jeff Carter trade. It kind of felt like I had to.
Yeah.
And, first period, the first couple minutes roll by, and then the Los Angeles Kings start playing like a better team. What's up, Kings fans? Keith here, and it's another Kings game. What are you going to do against the Blackhawks? Trade for Jeff Carter. 1-0 Hawks. Nothing changes. Dustin Brown scores 2 power play goals in the first period.
Yeah.
Talk about a statement, right?
Statement, absolutely. But still, the lead was not safe. I mean, obviously, we watched, the playoff game last year against San Jose, where they were 4-0. We saw them play against Phoenix last week, where they're up 3-0. So it doesn't seem like, maybe things are safe. But, Dustin Brown was out there to prove himself. And I think this was a genius move by Dean Lombardi to sort of call him out, as he's sort of been subtly all year long. But the guy got a hat trick in the second period.
On a shorty.
On a shorty. On a goal that, maybe in the past he wouldn't have scored, but he was not going to be denied. This guy was on fire tonight. It was fantastic to see him step up, and I think he elevated everyone's game tonight.
What up, Kings fans? After the first period, and you want to talk about a guy who doesn't want to be traded? Dustin Brown, 2 goals, tearing it up. I'm still going to say 3-2 Blackhawks in the shootout.
It was fantastic to see him step up, and I think he elevated everyone's game tonight.
No, the Kings as a whole played better. I mean, shots were hitting the net. Slava Voinov was hitting way more shots on the net than Jack Johnson would. Andrei Kopitar driving the net didn't get any goals. Jarrett Stoll had 2 points in the game. Jonathan Quick, of course, with the shutout and brilliant all season long. The whole team looked a lot better, and I think with the trade and with the Dustin Brown trade rumors, there's enough angst in the locker room where they finally channeled it, finally found that character that they've been trading for and signing for years, and it came together tonight. I mean, I know it's only one game, it's a very small sample size, but I really liked what I saw from LA. Final score being 4-0. Willie Mitchell had a goal too.
With the goal, absolutely. All right, folks, so after 5 years, we are sad to say that we're going to say see ya to a good guy. His name is Jack Johnson. You know, been with the team for 5 years. This is going to be a nicer one, like we did with Ryan Smith. You know, we respect the guy. So here we are to present a new see ya for Mr. Jack Johnson.
Ah, Jack, you had a good run. You were a big boy and negotiated your own contract. You went to the Olympics and did really well, and you even had some game winners to start the season. So we got to say, see ya.
All right, JJ. Your career plus minus looked more like the winter temperature of Siberia. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to miss the liability factor, so we really have to say, see ya.
Bro, it's hard to imagine you're gone. I'm really going to miss those riveting interviews and Ray Bork comparisons. Best of luck. See ya.
Johnson. JMFJ. Yes, you were noted the MF moniker before you even played a game. I'm sorry, but it never stuck and never worked. I'm sorry, but we gots to say, see ya.
All right, Kings fans, you've seen our site, you've seen the shirts, you know you gotta have one, and we're bringing one back. You know, Jeff Carter traded the Los Angeles Kings. We got a Dry Island t-shirt for you. It's on KingsCast. Go to the top, click shop. We got the guy over here. He wants one too. Everybody wants one. KingsCast.net or KingsCast.spreadshirt.com. Dry Island, get it. All right, Kings fans, we'll be right back at you next week after the Ducks game. Look forward to that. I'm Keith Konalik.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
And we will march to the Stanley Cup. And thank you for watching Overtime by KingsCast.